Welcome to the Dermatology Studio with Dr. Yusra Ayaz.
All right, let's get right into it. In those first few hours and days of a newborn's life, their skin can tell an absolutely critical story. But, reading that story means you have to recognize patterns that can be really subtle, sometimes strange, or even downright alarming. Today, we're going to dive into some of the most challenging and important skin conditions in neonates.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle 3 diagnostic mysteries with some deep dive case studies. Then, we'll switch gears and do a rapid-fire review of the key viral, bacterial, and fungal infections you absolutely need to have on your radar. And we'll wrap it all up with the essential takeaways.
Okay, let's jump right into our 3 clinical puzzles. Each one of these presents a really distinct visual clue that points to a serious underlying condition. Let's see if you can solve them right along with me. I want you to picture this scene. A brand new baby arrives, but instead of that soft newborn skin, they're encased in this glistening, almost parchment-like film. Their eyelids are pulled outward, their lips are turned out, and any movement looks really difficult. So what on earth is going on here?
The diagnosis here is a collodion baby. The name itself really paints a picture of that shiny, membrane-like covering. And let me be clear, this is a true dermatological emergency.
So what's behind this? Well, the whole problem boils down to a defective skin barrier. This often comes from a mutation in something called the TGM1 gene, which is absolutely essential for building that healthy outer layer of skin. When it's not working right, the skin can't shed properly, and you get that tight, plastic skin appearance. It's that extreme tightness that literally pulls the eyelids and lips outward, causing those classic signs you see, ectropion and eclabion. And you have to understand, this is so much more than just a skin issue. That broken barrier puts the infant at a huge risk for some really life-threatening complications. I mean, without a functional barrier, they're losing water like crazy, which leads to dehydration and hypothermia, and they are completely wide open to sepsis. Management is super intensive. They need to be in the ICU, in a humidified incubator, and you're constantly applying emollients to create an artificial barrier and stop that dangerous water loss.
All right, let's move on to our second mystery. This time, we have a newborn with these very distinct blue to purple nodules scattered all over their body, especially on the trunk and face. And when you examine them, you find they have hepatosplenomegaly, which just means their liver and spleen are enlarged. What does this whole picture point to?
This incredibly striking presentation is famously known as a blueberry muffin baby. It's one of those names you hear once and never forget, and it's for a very, very serious sign.
Now, what's really fascinating here is what's happening under the surface. It's a process called dermal erythropoiesis. So think of the bone marrow as the body's main factory for making blood cells. When that factory gets overwhelmed for some reason, the body has to open up these emergency pop-up factories in other places. And in this case, it's happening right in the skin. Those little purple nodules are literally tiny active sites of blood cell production, screaming that there's a major problem somewhere else in the system.
And this just brilliantly illustrates where that name comes from. When you see the clinical photo right next to an actual blueberry muffin, the connection is, well, it's undeniable. It's an incredibly powerful mnemonic that you are not going to forget. And this is probably the most critical takeaway for this condition. Blueberry muffin baby is not a diagnosis. It's a huge alarm bell. Seeing this rash means your work is just getting started because it points to a whole range of severe underlying conditions, from the classic torch infections to blood disorders or even cancers like congenital leukemia. A full workup is absolutely essential.
Okay, our final case is the most acute, the most dramatic. Within the first 12 hours of life, a newborn suddenly develops these dark, bleeding, and literally dying areas of skin. They're often symmetrical and appear over pressure points. This is a catastrophic event. What are we looking at here?
The diagnosis is neonatal purpura fulminans. The name itself, fulminans, is Latin for to strike like lightning, and that perfectly captures the terrifying speed and severity of this disorder.
So the mechanism here is just runaway clotting. Tiny little blood vessels in the skin get completely clogged up with clots, and that cuts off all blood supply. Without blood, the tissue just rapidly dies. This catastrophe is usually caused by a severe inherited deficiency of the body's natural clot busters, proteins like protein C or S, but it can also be triggered by an overwhelming infection, like sepsis.
And this powerful image shows you the devastating reality of this condition. You can see these well-defined purple bruises, ecchymoses, that have progressed into blood-filled blisters and then into those black, necrotic centers. This is an absolute race against time that requires immediate intervention to replace those missing clotting factors and save the tissue.
Okay, so we've just done a really deep dive on 3 rare but critical conditions. Now we're going to switch gears completely. Let's broaden our view with a rapid-fire review to really sharpen our pattern recognition for the more common culprits, infectious disorders.
First up, viruses. And with viruses, pattern is everything. If you see grouped vesicles, little blisters clustered together, especially on the scalp, your first thought has to be neonatal HSV. Starting IV acyclovir is urgent. Next, if a baby is born with zigzag scars or maybe underdeveloped limbs, you've got to suspect fetal varicella. And finally, as we've already seen, that blueberry muffin rash, especially with things like cataracts, is a classic sign of congenital rubella.
Now, onto bacteria, where a Staph aureus is a huge player. It can cause the fragile, easily ruptured blisters you see in bullous impetigo. A much more severe version is staphylococcal scalded skin syndrome, or SSS, where a toxin makes the top layer of skin just peel away, looking like a burn. An infection of the umbilical stump, omphalitis, is a true emergency. And even more dangerous is necrotizing fasciitis, that flesh-eating infection that spreads with terrifying speed and always needs surgery. And finally, never forget congenital syphilis, classically a rash on the palms and soles and that persistent nasal discharge we call snuffles.
And to wrap up our rapid review, let's look at fungus. The key pattern to remember for neonatal candidiasis, a yeast infection, is the satellite lesions. You'll see a main, beefy red rash, often in the diaper area, surrounded by these smaller, distinct little pustules. You want to contrast that with Malassea pustulosis, which is a different yeast that usually just causes a harmless but sometimes scary-looking breakout of small pustules on the face and scalp.
So after covering all that ground, what are the absolute most critical points to walk away with? Let's distill this all down into a few essential takeaways that you can really use.
Okay, number 1, pattern recognition is your most powerful tool. Parchment skin equals collodion baby. Number 2, a blueberry muffin rash is a systemic alarm bell, and it demands a full investigation. Number 3, sudden, dark purpura is an absolute emergency. Think purpura fulminans. Number 4, know your infectious rashes.
Thanks for watching. Hit like, share, and subscribe to the Dermatology Studio. Ask your skin queries in the comments below.